Okay, so we will start the next topic, and that topic is the loop control structure.
Sir, even that swapping thing, interchanging.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it is remaining. Okay, so before starting that loop control structure, we will see that swapping. Control C, just I'm removing this one. Okay, so actually the program statement is that, so if there are two variables are there, okay, so two variables, and you want to make a swap of it. So making swapping means interchange the two value.
So we can't see your computer screen. I mean, the one you're typing.
Okay, so now.
Yeah.
Okay, so interchanging means suppose if there are two variables are there, integer a and suppose integer b, and suppose a contains suppose value 45 and suppose b contains value suppose 23. Okay, okay, so you want to write some here one code, you want to write some code here. Suppose one code you want to write, and after writing that code, if you are printing the value of a, if you're printing the value of a, that is a is equal to percentage d comma a, and again you are printing the value of b is equal to percentage d comma b. So what should be your answer?
A should be 23, B should be 45.
Yes, correct. So a and b should have the interchange value. So whatever the content of a should be copied into b, and the content of b should be copied into the a. So we have to write here, the code of that particular program. So how to do it? Anyone know the answer?
Sir, I just have one way of doing it. Like I solved it that way.
Yeah.
We can take A as A plus B. So the addition of those two numbers will get assigned to A. And then we can take B as A minus B.
Yes.
So in that way, when we do the next step, the values will get interchanged.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that is actually one of the shortcut method for interchanging the value. We will also taking that, but we will first see the traditional method of the swapping of two variables. Okay, suppose this is my two variables a and b. A contains some value. For example, a contains the value as suppose here I think what is the value, it is 45. A contains the value as 45 and the b contains the value as 23. Okay, so I want to interchange. If I'm directly assigning here a equal to b, so what happens if I'm directly doing a is equal to b? So if you're assigning that, it means that the whatever the value of a get vanishes here. So it means that this b, the content of b, you are directly copy into the a. So this 45 get vanishes and directly you will get 23 here. But here, what about this 45? You need to place it back into the b itself. After this, actually, after assigning the value of b to a, here 45 has to be assigned, has to be stored into the b.
Sir,
So
we
what
can
is my
take
solution?
other variable, assign that variable to A.
Yes.
So in that A will be stored, again assigning B to that temporary variable. So
Yes,
B
yes.
will be 45.
So we are taking a third more variable, also known as a backup variable. What is this? It is a backup variable. It is only for backupping the value. So if before using this a equal to b, the statement I'm doing here as a t is equal to a, t is equal to a. So when you are using t is equal to a, the content of this a, that is 45, get assigned to t. So here the t becomes 45. Okay, so t becomes 4. Now after executing the first statement, this one, after executing the first statement, a is 45, b is 23 and t is also 45. Got it? Now I'm executing the second statement, a is equal to b. When I'm doing a is equal to b, the content of B get copied into the A. So it means that this 45 get overwritten by the 23. Now A is having the new data as a 23, and this 45 get overwrite. It is a overwrite. It is not there now. A contains 23 only. Okay. Now after executing this, A is equal to B. A is 23. B is also 23, but T is 45. Now what we need to do
B
here?
is equal to T.
Yes, yes. Whatever the content of this T, that is, now T is nothing but A. So here, whatever the content of T, I have to move it to the B here. So the statement I have to make it here, B is equal to T. When I'm making B is equal to T, the content of T get copied into the B, and here the 23 is get overwrite by the new data as a 45, by new data as a 45, and I have executed this. So it means that after executing this three statement, now A is 23 and the B is 45. Before this, A is 45 and B is 23. After executing three statement, A is 23, B is 45. So in other way, we can say that here the two variables get swapped here. Okay, two variable get swapped here. We don't have to deal with this T variable. It is a temporary variable that we have created. Got it? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I want to modify this program, then I need a third variable, T variable.
Sir,
Yes.
one more doubt.
Yes.
So what if we give in printf, that printf is there, no sir?
Pardon?
Sir, in
Printf.
printf, if you change the value, sir.
Yeah. If
A is
print
equal to
A is equal to percentage D, comma B, print, then next statement, printf B is equal to percentage D, comma A. What if we give like that?
It is very similar. Like suppose your mathematic assignment you want to submit, and suppose you have the assignment book of suppose history. Okay. And what you are doing? Your history assignment book cover you are only replacing with the mathematics one. But what is the content inside? The content is the history one only, but the only book cover will be mathematics only. So it means that you are fooling the user only, but you are not doing actual swapping. Okay. So the purpose is not only printing, the purpose is actual swap. The memory content should be swapped. Only getting the output is not important, but how you are getting that output, that is the most important thing. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So it will remind me one in my incident. Okay, so I will tell you that incident. But before sharing my incident, let me run this program. This semicolon is missing. Control B. Yeah, A is 23 and B is 45. Got it? So A is 23. Before this, A is 45. Now A becomes 23 and B is 45. Getting this point?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So that incident I want to share with you. When I actually go for that SIDAC, okay, there is one admission interviews there, pre-admission interview. Before admission, you have to go for the personal interview there. So in there, the practical examination is also there. In that practical examination, actually, the question is using the script, shell scripting. Using the shell scripting, you have to get this type of the output: triangle, then this type of that output. That is your triangle output. Okay, using the shell scripting, you have to get this type of the output. This is the output that they want. Okay, so my batch is, I think, 10 students are sitting there. So 9 students are not getting the output there, whatever is in shell scripting, but only one student will getting the output, and he is trying. Everyone is trying, but one student called to that invigilator and he said that, sir, I get my output, and he showed the output, and the invigilator is very happy that only one student has getting the output. So now invigilator has asked to that student that please share your code. Okay, please show me your code. So what is the code that student has written there? Star /n, then printf star /n, and then printf star /n, and then again one more printf star, and then /n, and one more type printf star, again star, and then /n. And this type of the output I want, and if I'm running this program, you will get a same output here. You can see here, I will get the same output here. Getting? But that invigilator say that your program is totally wrong. Output you are getting, but your program is wrong. So what is the problem here? Can you tell me what is the problem?
So for 5 stars, it is okay. But what if we want more number?
More number. So they have to put here more printf statement. So actually the program that has been asked in that examination has to be solved by using the for loop. Okay, by using that loop you have to solve it. So that is one printf statement enough only, and that printf statement you are putting into the loop. And how many star you want, just you need to put it there. Suppose 5 star table, then here it will automatically repeat all the things and you will get this type of the output. So using the loop, actually they have to solve. Everyone is trying for the loop, but that student is reading the statement, print the following pattern using the shell scripting. So at that time the invigilator say that your program is wrong. Okay, so that student is asking, sir, my program is not wrong. What the statement you are asked, just read it. You want only the output like this, so I have the output. You never say that get the output using the loop. Okay, so though that student is having the wrong program, but that the student has been selected for the CDAC itself because his presence of mind is there. Okay, so that statement is wrong. The statement should be print the following pattern using the loop in a shell scripting. So be specific while mentioning your statement. So that is the moral of that point. Getting?
Yeah.
Yes.
So never use that method. Okay, print A is equal to B and print B is equal to A. You are not selecting any company there if they are asking. Okay, now the second method is okay. The second method is in a company, actually most of time it is asked swap the two variable but without using third variable. Don't use third variable, but you need to swap. So one method she already shared, A is equal to A plus B, B is equal to A minus B, and A is equal to A minus B. So this is the one of the method and you will get a same answer. A is 23 and the B is equal to 45. Is 23, B is 45. Getting? This is the one method.
Yes.
The second method is, I think, this one. A is equal to A XOR B, B is equal to A XOR B. Third is A. It is also A XOR B. This is the third way. Yeah, you will get the same output. A is equal to 23 and B is equal to 45. This is the second method. Yes. So there are several methods. You need to find out that methods using AND gate also we can do using, I think, multiplication division, but the multiplication division never works for every input. It never works for every input. So don't use multiplication division method. It is only valid for the even numbers. So your assignment is just search out more method for swapping of two numbers without using third variable. Two methods I have shared. Remaining method you have to find out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let's start the today's topic, that is loop control structure.
So is it without using the third variable?
Third variable, yes, without using third variable. Without using third variable. Again, one more question I want to share. Okay, that is actually being asked in one of the interviews that I have faced. The question was even or odd. Okay, even or odd. Okay, suppose one number is given. One number is given. That number you have to take from the user. Okay, what is that number? I don't know. Here I have hardcore it, but I don't know what is that number. Now I want to check that is it even or odd. So how to check it? Tell me, what is the procedure?
So if it is divisible by
A modulo 2 equal to 0,
Zero.
then
Then it is even. Print even.
printf it is
even.
even, else
Else
Odd.
it is not.
printf it is odd. Okay, now it prints odd. It print odd. Okay, yes, it print odd. If you are giving any even numbers, it will print even. Okay, so the question that I asked to me is get or you design a program in which you are giving a one input and getting the even or odd number, but without using the modulo operator. Don't use modulo operator. So any technique? Actually, I failed to give the answer there. The company name is On Mobile Communication. The package was 6 lakhs per annum at that time in 2007.
Divisible by 2 is also fine, no sir?
Divisible by,
2.
so how to check that it is divisible by 2?
So we can check for the quotient if it's a multiple of 2.
Yeah, but how to get the quotient? You can get the quotient by using modulo operator, but you don't
Quotient,
have to use here.
quotient we can use a by 2.
Yes, yes, quotient. Yes, quotient. Yes, a divided by 2. Then
Like if a by 2 is
just take any input. Suppose 900. Control B. So it is even. And for 901 and for 901, it is also even. 901 is not even. It is an odd number.
So that time you can change it to float, no sir?
Float, no, that it is an integer number.
Okay.
Dimension, it is an integer number.
But what if it is float? Then it works, no sir?
No, it never works for the float. It also print even.
Oh.
Because if you are dividing by 2, then you will always get a result
Even only
is
we'll get
greater
because
than
it's
1.
completely getting.
You are always getting the result greater than 1. And what is greater than 1? It is true. True means always the even get printed. Yes. Any other technique? They have given me 10 minutes to solve this problem. I'm very overconfident that at that time, so that I know the C language. But when he asked me that question, I failed to do that. Because what is our actually approach for solving the problem is that if we are getting the output, we stop. If we are getting the output, we stop. We never try for the another technique. So don't go for the output. Don't just go for your logic or technique to solve or to get that particular output. Yes, can I explain it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just tell me, take any even number. Suppose take a even number as a 2. Okay, what is the binary of 2? Yes, binary of 2, is it 2? Binary of 2, is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, binary of 4, 1 0 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Binary of 6, 1 1 0.
Yes, sir.
Binary of 8, it is 1 0 0 0. Binary of 10, I'm writing here all even numbers. It is 1 0 1 0.
Hmm.
Binary of 12, it is 1 1 0 0. Okay, so these are some even numbers I have written here. Now here I am writing odd numbers. Now take an example of odd numbers 1. So it is 1 3. Yes, 3 is 1 1. 5, it is I think 1 0 1. 5 na? Yes. The 7, it is 1 1 1. 8,
Sir, 9.
not 9. 8 is not. 8 is not even. 9. I think 1 0 0 1. One more I am taking 11. I think 8 and 0 and 1 1. Okay, so this is my 11. So can you actually observe that bit patterns of even number and odd number, these are even and this is the
Sir,
odd.
in even all last numbers is ending with 0.
Yes, yes, correct observation.
Or it is ending with 1.
You can see here the last bit is always 0. Last bit is always 0. Last bit is 0 0 0 0 0. And here all odd numbers having it. Take any example of odd number. Last bit is always 1. So the technique, my technique to solve this program should be, if I'm only checking the last bit, and if the last bit is 0, then that number is even number. That number is a even number. And if the last bit is 1, then I can say that here the given number is a odd number. Okay, now tell me how to check last bit. I want to check last bit. I don't want the remaining bits. I don't want these remaining bits. Any bits are there. I don't want this. I don't want this remaining one. I don't want this remaining one. So how to do this? Does any bitwise operator provide this facility?
So that
remove,
checking last bit thing is there, no, sir. Modulo 10 is equal to 0. That you should not use.
modulo you don't want to use here. So what is my question here? If there is a bit pattern is there and I want only a specific bit is there, I don't want the remaining bits. So is it any procedure in your electronics? In digital electronics, what to do? If to remove the unwanted bits, that is one technique is known. The technique is called as a masking. If you don't want that base, then that technique removing that bits is called as a masking of that bit. So what we need to do, we need to mask these bits and we want only the last bit. So which operator generally is used to mask the bits? Tell me. Which gate is used to mask the bit? Masking. Take the example of this 6 and we're taking the example of 7. 6 and 7. Okay. So if 6 is there, 6 means its bit pattern is, I think, 0 1 0 0 1 1 0. Okay, this is my bit pattern. I want to mask this 0 1 1. I want to mask 0 1. I want only the last bit. So how to get last bit? So we have mask operation is nothing but your AND operation. Mask operation is nothing but, so how, which bit pattern you don't want, which bit you don't want, that bit you are masking with the 0, and which bit you want, last bit. So whatever the required bits you are placing in that mask as a 1, and what is the unrequired bits you are placing as a 0. Then what is the answer here? Can you tell me for 6 what is the answer? It is 0
0 0
0 0
0
and the last is 0. So my result is 0 0 0 0 in case of even. Take any example of even number. Replace this 6 by any number, you will always get a 0 if the number is even number. If the number is even number, you are getting answer as a 0. But what happen if your number is a odd number? Suppose take the example of 7. What is my 7? 0 1 1 1. Okay, so here I am asking with the same bit pattern. So it is bit pattern is 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, the same bit pattern. So tell me the answer. RES is equal to, RES, it is 0, it is 0, it is 0, and the last is 1.
0 1.
So can I say here, if my number is odd, I'm getting the result as 1, and if my number is an even number, I'm getting the result as 0. Getting? And what is my operation? Your num and with this 0 0 0 1. And what is 0 0 0 1? It is decimal 1. Okay, so my formula becomes num and with 1 equal to 0, then even. And if num and with 1 equal to 1, then it is odd. Getting this? So my operation is num ANDed with the 1. Any number, if I'm ANDed with the 1, 1 is 0 0 0 1. If I'm ANDed with the 1, if I'm getting 0, if I'm getting the result as 0, then the result is even. If I'm getting the result as 1, then the result is odd number. Okay, so I can put here the same code in my program here. If A and with the 1 equal to 0, then it is even number. Otherwise it is odd number. Okay, anyway we are getting 0 or 1 only. Okay, so if it, A is ANDed with the 1, it should be integer. Okay, if A ANDed with the 1 equal to 0, if the result of A and with the 1 is 0, then it is even number. Otherwise it is odd number. You can check it out here. Your result is odd number. There is a warning. Okay, just don't consider that warning, but the result is here odd. If you are getting here 0, then the result is the,
So you have to put bracket, no? A
yes,
and 1.
yes, bracket. To put bracket there. It is an even number. Okay, and consider any odd number. Suppose 7, odd number. Okay, any even number, 90, even number. Getting? So we can solve the same problem without using modulo operator also. Yes, you can note down this program.
Yes, sir.
So copy this program in my chat window. Yes, these are some actually problems that has been asked in your MNCs. The traditional method they want the out of box thinking, and whatever I have shared, that whiteboard, this is called as a out of box thinking. You have to see the last bit. If the last bit is 0, then it is even. If the last bit is 1, it is odd number. If you tell only this logic, then you don't have to write the program. Directly they ask the next question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll move towards the loop control structure. Can I start here now?
Yes, sir.
Loop control. Now, again, the students are always make a confusion between the if else and the loop control. Now, though that loop control and the if else look like same, but the difference is that the if is checking the condition and it will execute the statement, but it is doing only one time, single time it is only doing, that is single time condition check, and if the condition is true, then only that single time statement get executed inside the if. But it is not in the case of your loop. In a loop, actually it will execute the statement inside the loop multiple times until that condition is true. If the condition is true, statement is again repeatedly executes. Again it will check for condition. If the condition again true, again condition code get executed. Condition check, true, again condition code. If the condition is false, then only it will go out of that loop and the conditional code will not be executed at that time. Got it? So if you're the one thing you are doing repeatedly, you are one thing, the same thing you are doing repeatedly, same thing you are doing repeatedly. So you are always saying that I'm in a loop. Just like you always wake up in the morning, then at the night you go to sleep. Next day again you wake up in the morning, next that night you are again go to sleep. So it means that you are in a loop. You are doing the same thing repeatedly until there is one condition is there. And what is that condition? Permanently you are going for the sleep, that is your death. Got it? So if you are going for the death, then the condition is false. You are never going for the wake up again. So that is actually your loop here. So your conditionally code will get repeatedly executed until that condition is true. Okay. So there are three types of the loop in C language: while loop, do while loop, and the for loop. While, do while, and the for. So we'll see one by one. So very first loop is the while loop. Very simple loop, and every language is having this loop. Every language, all the languages having this while loop. Though that's C++ also having, Java also having, Python also having, your .NET also having, every language having this while loop. So what is this loop? Says that it is very similar like your if statement, if condition statement, and here instead of if just replace while, then it become while the condition is true, execute the statement. So it means that that statement will be repeatedly execute until that condition is true. If the condition is false, then directly go outside of that while loop. Got it? So here the statement may be single statement or a block of statement. If there is a block of statement, then giving the bracket is important or compulsory here, this curly brackets. For executing the block of statement, more than one statement, giving the block is compulsory. But if there is single statement, not compulsory. Giving the bracket is not compulsory there. Getting? Now next one is the flow diagram. In a flow diagram, actually it will show the actual flow here. Before starting to execute that conditional code, it will first check condition. If the condition is false at the first time, directly it will go to the next statement. It will not go to execute conditional code. But if the condition is true, then it will going inside, it will execute code. Again, it will check for the condition. Again, condition will be checked. If it is again true, again go inside. So conditionally, actually it is repeatedly execute until that condition is true. If the condition become false, it will do directly go outside. Getting? So in one example, suppose at the first time only, if the condition becomes false, you are going for checking the condition, and if the condition is false, then what happened? It will not go inside the conditional code. It will not go going inside that loop, and directly it will go to the next statement which is written after that loop. So it means that minimum how many time the while loop execute, that is the question. How many time minimum the while loop executes? 0 times. Minimum 0 times. And what is the maximum time the while loop get executes?
Infinite.
Infinite time. So if you are written such a condition which is never becomes false, so that loop is called as a infinite loop. Generally we are putting that while loop in an infinite by writing while one, and inside that while one we are putting that our code. So continuously that code written will be get executed. Generally embedded system will uses this concept. In an embedded system, in a C8051 or PIC, in your PIC or 8051, generally we are putting our code, blinking LED or whatever the code is there, that we are putting inside the while one. So while one represent execute this code infinite times. Okay. The example is given here. The W should be small. Okay. So the example is here, print 5 times welcome C. So here one variable is there P is equal to 1, condition is P less than or equal to 5. So how to read it? Until P value is less than or equal to 5, this loop is true. Okay. So this loop will continuously executed until the P value is less than or equal to 5. Getting? Okay. Now P is equal to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. It go inside and it will print welcome to C, and it is also printed P value. So P get printed as 1. So welcome to C 1. Now P is equal to P plus 1, or instead of this you can do P plus plus. That is increment the value of P by 1. Now P becomes 2. When the P becomes 2, again it will check for the condition 2 less than or equal to 5, condition is again true. It will again go inside, again it will print welcome to C2. Why? Because P value is 2 here. Again P is equal to P plus 3. It will continuously incrementing and checking the condition, incrementing, checking the condition. Suppose here after executing some steps, now P becomes 5. When P becomes 5, P is 5 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. It will execute welcome to C and 5. So the last statement it will get executed, and P becomes 6. When P becomes 6 and again you are checking the condition, then the condition becomes 6 less than or equal to 5. When 6 less than or equal to 5, condition is false here. Now what happens when there is a condition false? It will not go inside, it will directly go to the next statement written after that while loop. Now there is no statement written, so your program ended there, and so your output is this one, welcome to C1 to 5 here. Getting this? Everyone getting? Just
Yes.
reply me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
it's okay to not write P is equal to P plus 1.
Pardon?
What if we don't mention p is equal to p plus 1?
Okay. Suppose
Then
if
it
I have
won't be-
commented, suppose if this is I have commented here. So what happened? Just you need to again recompile or rerun yourself. What happened? P is equal to 1. Condition true. 1 less than or equal to 5. So welcome to C1 get printed. Now P value is 1. You are not changing the value. So again the condition is 1 less than or equal to 5. Again it will get printed. Welcome to C1. Again 1 less than or equal to 5. Again printed welcome to C1. So how many times welcome to C1 get printed? Tell me.
Infinite number of
Infinite time, obviously, because you are not changing the value of P there. If you're not changing the value of P, it will printed infinite time.
So,
Getting?
in some programs we type int main, but
Yes.
here it is void main. Why? Like, what is the difference?
Okay, okay. That is the first, actually, in first lecture, I have mentioned that. Now, there are two formats of writing the main function. One is void main and the second one is int main. Void main represent the main is not returning anything. Okay, and the int main is representing that main is returning an integer to the operating system. If you don't want to return any value to the operating system, then use void main. Generally this technique we are using in Turbo C, void main, but in GCC actually always use int main there, because in a GCC your process return value you can check it. Okay, so here if you want to give some return value to the operating system, actually it is needed for the advanced C language. Suppose there is one process executing and what is the return type or return value of that process you want to check, and depending on that return value you want to execute the another process, then at that time better to use int main. Okay, but suppose if you are using Turbo C, then stick to void main. If you are using GCC, stick to int main.
Sir, and
Yeah.
also if we use void main, then no need to mention return is
Return
written 0.
Yeah, if you are using void main and if you are mentioning here return 0, the meaning is that firstly you mention that my main function is not returning anything and you are returning it. So your compiler give error there. Compiler will say that both statements are contradictory here. You say
Yeah.
that main is not returning anything and you return this value. So compiler give error. Getting?
And if you give int main and do not mention return 0?
It is perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine. It is not checking return value. It will generate some warning. The function should return a value. This warning only generate. It is not generating any error.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Can while loop be used twice, sir? Like in a program, can while loop be used twice?
Yeah, twice means a loop inside the loop, nested loop, or while.
Not a loop inside a loop, sir. Like for example, if there is a program that they have asked, like if any three-digit number is given as input, and I'm supposed to find which is the three-digit number is given as input, and I'm supposed to find which is the largest digit and which is the smallest digit. In that case, we are supposed to perform it in a loop, no, sir. So two times we'll have to specify while.
No, at that time we don't have to use the loop there. Only if else is sufficient. When to use loop? When you want to execute a particular statement repeatedly. So
Okay.
at that time actually you want to only print first number is greater or second number is greater or third number is greater. Only three statements are there. And that three statements are a single execution only. No need to use their loop.
Okay, sir.
Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, suppose the same program I'm executing here. Okay, the same program I'm executing, and you will get a, okay, so this I have copied now, so it will be, okay, so output is welcome to C1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then I can use it one more time. That is your question. I can use the more than one time here. Now I'm getting here from is less than or equal to 10 and P is equal to. So what is the output? First loop will execute 5 times. So when the first loop get over, what is the value of P? P is 6. Okay, P becomes 6. When you are out of that loop, when you are out of that loop, P is 6. Now here, when you are trying to execute the second loop, the value of starting value of P is 6. So it start with the 6. 6 less than or equal to 10. Then welcome to C, 6. Then P is equal to P plus 1. So it will execute your code like that. So this 5 statements is of the first while loop. This next 5 statement is of the second while loop. Getting? So you can add any number of loop in your program. Even you can have the loop inside the loop, that known as a nested loop. But its application is different. Okay. So here control Z. Okay. So I'm writing a program. You just need to modify, identify what is the output. Instead of P is equal to P plus 1, I'm using here P plus plus. Yes. Now what is the output?
Prints 1 to 10.
Yes, print 1 to 10. Yes, print 1 to 10. Yes, correct. Print 1 to 10. So I want to print 10 to 1 then.
Minus.
Only minus minus. Only minus minus will work.
P is equal to 10.
So here the very first starting should be 10.
Yeah,
So
P is 10.
Start is 10. P is 10. And what should be my condition there? My condition remains same.
Less than
Equal to
greater
1.
than or equal to
Yes,
1.
yes. So always remember that you need to modify here the condition here. Now this condition, this loop will be true for the values having the P greater than or equal to 1. So it means that if the P started with the 10, it will go up to the 1. So total 10 times it will get printed. So 10 to 1 is the output. Getting?
Yes.
Okay, so this is known as a decrementing loop. This is known as a decrementing loop. The first loop that we have written as an incrementing loop. It is known as a incrementing loop. 1 to 10 is known as incrementing loop. Got it? Okay. So I want to print here table of the 5. Then table of 5. Table of 5. The 5 table, you know. Firstly, starting value is
5.
5.
the last value is
Less than
Less than equal to 50.
50, and 5 get printed. Now what is the next value to be printed?
P into
10.
5
What is
into
the next value to be printed? 10. So how to get the next value? P is equal to P plus.
5.
P is equal to P plus 1.
So we are getting that table of 5.
Yes, sir.
Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The same thing I can here rewrite by using here n is equal to suppose 5. What I'm making here 1, 10, the previous program. P is equal to P plus 1. But only one changes I'm doing is here. Now the output of this program is 1 to 10. 1 to 10 it will be printed. I want table of 5. So what I'm doing?
Into N.
P into n. Very simple. Now 1 into 5, 5. 2 into 5, 10. 3 into 5, 15. Okay, like that. So it will get output of table of 5. Okay, so if I want the table of 8, I need to only modify one thing. N is equal to 8.
No, sir.
Yes.
here it is less than or equal to 10, no?
Yes,
Okay, sir, got it.
got it.
Yes, sir.
So just execute your program by yourself. Whatever your actually operating system is doing, just do yourself. Execute your program line by line, and understand that what is happening to that particular point. So your P is less than 10, value of P is 1, 1 less than 10, condition true, go inside. If P is 11, then condition is false, it will go directly outside loop. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the while loop actually I want to share with you. The next is the do while loop. The next is do while loop. Unlike the for and while loop, actually we can test the loop condition at the top of the loop. So here just consider the while loop. In a while loop, actually first condition will be checked, and if the condition is true, then only that code get executed. If the condition is false, it will directly go to the next line. So it means that here, if the condition is false at the first time only, then 0 time this conditional code will be executed. So the question is, how many time, what is the minimum number of time the while loop will execute? So 0 times. The condition is false at the starting only, but it is not in the case of the do while. Do while is very somewhat different than the while loop. What the do while loop is doing, it will first execute condition. It will first execute the statements. It will first execute the statement, then it will go for checking the condition. If the condition is true, then the second time the statement will be executed. If the condition is false, then it will go outside. Otherwise, third time statement get executed. Again condition check, again statement. Then after that, you're just like your while loop. But initially, it will not checking the condition because there is no condition initially. It is first checking the statement first, then condition. So though that condition is false, at initially, at least this statement get executed at least one time. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So here,
Yes,
this
sir.
is the flow diagram here. You can actually clear this again logic with this flow diagram. So here your program control goes here. It will first execute code, then condition get execute. Condition will be checked. If the condition is true, again code get execute. Again condition will be checked. If it is again true, this loop will true until the condition is true. If the condition is false, then it will go directly outside. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the difference between the while loop and the do while is that while loop is the entry level check. While loop is the entry level check. And when you are doing entry, your condition will be checked. And do while is the exit level check. Exit level means you are doing something, and when you exit, then the condition will be checked. If you are talking about the real life example of while loop and do while, then very simple one. Just take an example of your college. If your iCard, while entering into your college, if the iCard is checking, if your iCard will be checked at the entry level, then it means that you are using while loop. If you are bringing your iCard, then only you can enter into the college campus. If you are not bringing the iCard, then you can directly go to your home. That is your while loop. But what is do while? Do while is just come to college campus, just have all these sessions, all the lectures, and when you exit from that college, your iCard will be checked. Okay, your iCard will be checked. If the iCard is there, then you can again, if the iCard is there, you can again come back to your that college campus. And if the iCard is not there at that time, then you can go out of your college directly. That is one of the real life example I can explain with you. Entry level check and exit level check. Getting this point that I want to actually explain with you. Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So here the program is very easy for writing the do while. Just while should be at the last. But the very important point I forgot to mention here, that syntax of while loop is the last, after the while there should be there should be a semicolon is there. The semicolon is very important here. If you are not putting semicolon here, then there is a syntax error is there. Okay, so this syntax of do while, first write do this while the condition is true. That is the reading of your do while. So do these statements until the or while this condition is true. So perform these statements, a get incremented, then the value of a get checked. If the a is less than 15, again the statement get executed. But if a is greater than 15 here, if value of a is greater than 15, then it will directly go outside here.
So doubt, sir.
Yes.
So here, when a is equal to 10, the first printf value of a will be a value will be 10.
Yes.
After that, a plus plus 11.
11.
So while a less than 15, it will consider this 10 or 11 as
11. A plus plus. Na? A is already incremented.
Okay.
A
So
is already incremented value will be taken.
Okay.
11 less than 15.
oh, okay.
Now next time value of a get printed as 11. Now a plus plus a becomes 12. Now 12 less than 15 is the condition. Condition is true.
Yeah.
Again value of a is 12.
Fine.
It will be continued until now value of a is 14. A becomes a plus plus. A plus plus becomes a is 15. When a becomes 15, condition is
False.
false. It will go outside and you will get up to only 10 to 14.
14.
Getting?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if starting only if the value of a is greater than 15, take it as 16. Initially it will print, later it will check. If it is not satisfying the condition, it will come out of the loop, no sir?
Yes. I will explain you with this example. Okay, so here output is 10, 11, 12, 4, 13, 14. Suppose here it is 16. Then what happened? Just try to guess the output.
16 only will be printed, sir.
Yes.
16.
Value of
16 will
a
be printed.
value of a is 16. Yeah, it will printed a becomes 17 and 17 less than 15 condition is false and it will directly go outside and you will get only one printf, that is value of a is 16. Now you can see here that condition is false at the first time only, but the printf will execute it at least once there. Okay, it is
sir.
executed at least once. But suppose if the same statements I have implemented using while loop. So instead of do, there is a while, and now this is the condition. This is the condition. I'm removing this while. So can you tell me now what is the output?
Error, sir.
No output.
Or some
There is no
That
error,
is
but there is no output.
No
Okay, output is not there because the condition is false at the first time only. If the condition is false, it will not go inside directly, it will go outside.
The loop.
Okay. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here the moral of the story is the do while will execute at least one time.
Okay,
It
sir.
will execute at least one time, though that condition is false. But while loop will execute minimum 0 times. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next is a for loop. Actually, I'm taking the for loop tomorrow, but you have the assignments. Today's assignment is this one. You have to solve it.
So we
Okay, so
cannot see.
We cannot see your screen.
let's see. Okay, okay. So you have to solve the I think slide number 110. Slide number 110. You have to solve 1, 2, 3 or 3. You can skip it because if there is a statement, a continue statement is there, and I have not taken that continue. Okay, so you can skip. There's something is there which I have not taken. So you can solve 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6, yeah, this 6, 5 you have to solve it. The 5 programs you have to solve. Don't go for directly execution. This is not for checking the output. It is for directly see the whatever the program and manually you have to execute. Don't copy paste and run it and tell the answer. It is for your reasoning. Just take the first one I am taking. Int I equal to 1, I less than 10, I less than or equal to 10, I and I plus plus. Simple.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is your
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
1 to 10, no, sir.
it is 1 to
1 to 10.
10.
1 to 10.
Yeah.
Definitely 1 to 10.
No, sir. No, sir.
So
Semicolon is there. Error,
Yeah,
syntax error.
after while there is a
Semicolon.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So what is your output? Syntax
Error. Syntax
no
error.
output.
Syntax.
No output, sir.
No
Syntax
output.
error, sir.
Syntax error.
The correct answer is no output.
So syntax error, no, sir.
There is no syntax error here. There is no syntax error. You can
There should
take-
not be semicolon, no, sir.
No, you can put semicolon. The meaning of putting the semicolon means
Ending the
you are
Ending that line.
ending that while at that line itself. So while loop is a single line now. Okay. So the semicolon means while loop is ended here. This is not a while loop.
Then it will print 1, no, sir. If it
No,
is
no, no.
ended there.
Now, what happened here? Value of I is 1, 1 less than 10. Condition true. Again it will check condition because there is no statement. Again 1 less than 10, 1 less than 10, 1 less than 10. How many times this 1 less than 10 was less than or equal to 10 it will be checked? Infinite time. It is only executing these conditions only. It is only checking the condition. It is never go to execute these lines. These lines never get executes.
Yes, sir.
Getting?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So,
Okay, you can have this program. I'm running the same program here. Okay, control B, and here the warning is there, but after warning there is no output is there. There is no error. The only warning is there. While loop has empty body, warning is there, but there is no output. It is continuously executing while loop. It is not going to execute the printf here.
Sir, but in do while loop, if we don't put semicolon, it will show error, no, sir.
It will show error. Yes, definitely it will show error. Yes, it is definitely show. I can show you again. Control X, Control V, and here do. Actually, it will give the output as 1 to 10. It will give the output as 1 to 10. But if I'm not putting here semicolon, then it is give error. You can see here, error is generated. Error. Expected semicolon after do while statement. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And what happens if there is a if statement, if A greater than B is there and there is semicolon in front of this? Is it any error,
No.
syntax error?
No errors.
No syntax error, but no output.
Yes, sir.
I greater than 5. Printf I greater than 5. And if I'm putting here semicolon, then what is the output?
No outputs.
I greater than 5.
I greater than 5.
5.
I greater than 5 is the output. I greater than 5 is the output. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and if I'm not putting here, then there is no output. There is no output. Okay.
Yes.
But what happen if there is a else is there?
That will be printed.
That will be printed. Whatever is there in else.
Okay. So what is printed here? Clang will be printed. Semicolon should be there.
So I have one more doubt.
Yes. Yes. I need to explain here. After that you can ask.
Okay.
Output is Clang. Okay. But here if I'm putting semicolon, then
I greater than 5.
now if there is no else is there, if there is no else, so else is absent here.
Both
In
will
case
be
of
printed.
absent else, only warning will be generated. But if there is a else associated with the if, then there is an error will be
One.
generated.
Okay.
Remember here, one error will be generated. So remember that in case of if else statement, and if you are putting a semicolon, then there is an error. Okay, because
sir.
you are saying that here if is completed, and the compiler think that if is completed, then what about this else?
Yes. Yeah.
The else is orphan. There is no if associated with the else. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can ask me that doubt.
So if brackets are there after if, flower brackets.
So which one? This one?
Yes, sir. And semicolon for if.
Semicolon for it. There's no difference between the previous one and
No,
this
sir.
one.
Now else also should not be there.
Else I have printed.
Okay. Now, sir.
The output is I greater
I
than
greater than 5.
Okay, same thing.
I greater than, same output.
Okay, sir.
Because what use of the curly bracket is only to get a body. Okay, it will it is a container in which you can actually store the different statements. You can make a collection of the statements by using that body. So if number of statement, if you want to associate it with the if, then use that curly brackets. If there is no curly bracket, then only single statement is associated. Okay. So all doubts cleared?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow actually we will take that for loop and then break statement and the continue statement, and then after that we will have some more practices on the loops. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that's it for today. Actually at 4 p.m. again there is a C++ lecture. So I'm ending the meeting now.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.